Yeah, you know. Welcome to Gameplay right now. It's okay to be curious. Yeah. I don't know what's up with 2024. Just one of those year. It's just one of 2024. It's just it's just a massive thing. Yeah, massive year. 2024. Can you imagine? Yeah, Maroon in Jamaica. Most people think that the Maroon is is like it's a beacon of hope for the country. It's like not a beacon of hope. It's a symbol of excellence. Until it's a nanny of the Maroon. Yeah, man, nanny. It's like nanny and my granny. Nanny of the Maroon. Catch a shot in her body. Imagine. And then people are gonna try to tell me selling the Maroon. People are gonna try to tell me say the Maroon are not really good people. Also, Maroon them decent, man. Nobody can't tell me nothing about the Maroon. Maroon them decent. Them say Maroon catch shot in her nanny of the Maroon. So when I tell them when I know say Maroon powerful now. Yeah. When I tell them, but make me know say the Maroon them powerful. And nanny catch a shot in her body and fight for the freedom of the country. No, after all that I've heard about the Maroons out of Jamaica, now they are saying that the Maroons were not necessarily the liberators. Instead, the Maroons were they played a significant role in the enslavement of the country. How does that work? The Maroons were not the liberators, but instead they played a significant role in enslaving the country. Should I believe that? I don't believe that. So I have a video here, and you know what? I just feel like to go live today and just do something. I don't even know what I'm really doing, but I just feel like I should talk about this because the Maroon out of Jamaica, which symbol of pride do we have outside of the Maroons? We had slaves, we had the British, and we had the Maroons. The Maroons were never enslaved, they were always free. And now we're hearing that the Maroons out of Jamaica, the symbol of freedom, the symbol of hope, the ones that signed the treaty, are the ones who actually helped, the ones who helped to enslave Jamaica. You believe that? Anybody out there believe that? I don't think that's even likely. It's not possible, is it? It's possible? Think it's possible? All right, I want to play this video just to appease myself while I do a quick. So I'm gonna play this video and I'm gonna do just a quick narrative along with it. Welcome to Right Narrative. Most people don't even know that they know about the Maroon in any negative way, and I never thought of them in any negative way. But right now, they're trying to feed some kind of story that the Maroon out of Jamaica is not necessarily the heroes that we think they are. So the YouTube channel that I'm looking at here is called Starwell, and the title of the video is "The Truth About the Jamaican Maroons." Yeah, truth about the Jamaican Maroons. And here it goes.
Now, as children in Jamaica, we are fed this fairy tale about the Maroons, that they were brave warriors of justice that fought for the rights and freedoms of black people. That Nanny was out here catching bullets with her body for your freedom. This fairy tale not
So
only
you
set in
want to say
Jamaica,
no
but
catch
then
no
go out
bullet with our
influence the
body?
black diaspora and the rest of the world. Put the Maroons on this undeserved pedestal. Now, because of the fact that most Jamaicans don't read or know or history. For the past 100 years or so, give or take a few, the Maroons have forged an identity built on lies that, for the most part, has gone unchallenged. Now, the latest Maroon trying to sell Jamaican people a lie is the so-called Chief Richard Curry. See, the Jamaican Maroons are possibly history's worst examples of traitor to their own people, and this is not something that is known to the Jamaican populace and many in diaspora. Now, originally, this video was supposed to be just an expose and the real history of the Maroons, but because of the recent utterances of Richard Curry, I have to cover some things he said, and then I'll give a general history of the real history of the Maroons. Now, in the video, Chief Curry says this.
If the Jamaican citizens choose not to understand their true history and stop blaming the Maroons as traitors,
No, today of all day, internet a act up. Hold on there. Maroon can't know say me I do this. I know the Maroon them thing no normal. But they can't know say me I do a live. Yeah. I mean I do live. I almost never do a live.
Most Jamaicans don't read or know our history. For the past 100 years or so, give or take a few, the Maroons have forged an identity built on lies that, for the most part, has gone unchallenged. Now, the latest Maroon trying to sell Jamaican people a lie is a so-called Chief Richard Curry. See, the Jamaican Maroons are possibly history's worst examples of traitor to their own people, and this is not something that is known to the Jamaican populace and many in diaspora. Now, originally, this video was supposed to be just an expose and the real history of the Maroons, but because of the recent utterances of Richard Curry, I have to cover some things he said, and then I'll give a general history of the real history of the Maroons. Now, in the video, Chief Curry says this.
if the Jamaican citizens choose not to understand their true history and stop blaming the Maroons as traitors, then the truth will be able to surface for the multitude to see.
Now, what is the real truth of the Maroons? Now, the Maroons have existed in Jamaica since the time of the Spanish, right? You always have slaves escaping into the Blue Mountains. When the British took over in 1655, over time, slaves escaping the plantation periodically come together and form communities in the Blue Mountains. The Maroons never came under real pressure until 1728 when the British appoint a new governor, Robert Hunter, and in attempt to get recognition, he decided to try and round up the Maroons. So this went on for 12 years until around 1739, 1740. During this time, the Maroons won almost every battle with the British. One of the main reasons for this was because for years they were living in the mountains and used guerrilla tactics to fight off the British in the bush. If you know the geography of Jamaica, you would know why guerrilla tactics were so effective against the British. There's no way troops from England that only know how to fight on flat land can beat people used to living in the mountains that cover the majority of Jamaica, right? This is also one of the main reasons Uncle Sam troops did have trouble when them go into places like Afghanistan, cause the place is nothing but hill and mountainside. And if you don't know it as well as the locals, even with all the modern technology, you're not gonna beat them on them. Now in 1740, a man named Edward Trelawney get governorship of Jamaica, and he was smarter than the average bear. That's why the parish named after him even to this day. See, Trelawney knew that the easiest way to win, quote unquote, peace was to buy out the Maroons because just like the people that sold them into slavery in the first place, Trelawney did know that the Maroons, like even modern day Jamaicans, love sweets. Now, when I say love sweets, you know what I mean. The mirage, that you can have equality with the British and him on your side and him is your friend, him is your brethren. Now, the Maroons love to boast about the treaty that them signed with the British that gave them them sovereignty and the right to rule themselves. You would think, say, for the 12 years that them spent a beat the British, based on how the treaty right, it sound like the British them win the fight. If you look on the screen, this is a copy of the treaty. I'm not going to read it out in its entirety right now, maybe in another video, but I want to highlight certain sections of the treaty. The first 5 articles deal with saying that the Maroons are free forever and to do whatever and plant whatever. And in Article 5 particularly, it said within the bounds of Trelawney Town and Cockpit Country. The Maroons basically agreed to put themselves in a reservation. Now, if you know anything about reservations, you know like what happened in America after the Europeans beat the natives and forced them to live on a small plot of land and govern themselves. Now, Section 9 is the section that the Maroons them the like talk about, and is one of the most famous sections, the one that them follow to the T for almost 200 years. Now, let me read it out. Section 9 says that if any Negroes shall hereafter run away from their masters or owners, and shall fall into Captain Cudjoe's hands, they shall immediately be sent back to the chief magistrate for of the next parish where they are taken, and these that bring them are to be satisfied for their trouble, as the legislator shall appoint. The assembly granted a premium of 30 shillings for each fugitive slave returned to his owner by the Maroons, besides expenses. Now, if we do a quick calculation using the currency calculator from the British National Archives, if you do quick maths, the Maroon didn't make the equivalent of £177, roughly around $37,000 Jamaican now for every runaway the Maroons capture. So it wasn't only a matter of sticking to the treaty while the Maroons go out and capture slaves. Them didn't make money from it, plain and simple. And that's the part they don't like talking about. Continuing, Section 10 says, all Negroes taken since the raising of this party by Captain Cudjoe's people shall immediately be returned, meaning that any runaway slaves that start fight with Cudjoe within the past couple of years should be returned to slavery immediately. And of course, they did follow the mandate of the treaty.
Today, in this era of time, it is globally accepted that nations have a reciprocal relationship as it deals with extradition. So when one reads the treaty, it's not hard to see that Jamaican citizens who were slaves at the time under the British Empire had a choice to join the Maroons under Cudjoe or his successors and be protected. Those who were fugitives from criminal activities or wanted to disobey the treaty agreement would be returned, similar to how extradition works today.
So again, Richard Curry saying, the people who fought along Cudjoe were free to join Cudjoe and whatever. Lie, nothing but lie. Section 14 and 15 are also very interesting, but as I said, I'll go into that in another video. Now, Curry wanted to take Jamaican people abroad and abroad, especially those abroad, for fool, by saying that Maroons didn't act on the treaty that them always so proud to raise up. The Maroons basically became a police force for the island that the white man used to track down other escapees, and they did it with great efficiency. Some of the most famous incidents including them being the leading force in mashing up Taki revolt in 1761. The man them snipe out Taki and take off him head like a them name clansman. In 1795 and 1796, with the Second Maroon War, Trelawney Town Maroons had a falling out with the government over punishment of one of them members. 2 Maroons get punished for thief 2 pig. Now you would think as fellow Maroons, the other Maroon towns, Moortown, Charlestown, Scotts Hall, and a compound town would have back up Trelawney Town in the issue. Nope. The rest of them take with themselves and a compound even join the British in destroying Trelawney Town. Them even slaughter a good amount of the Trelawney Maroons. And then who never gets slaughtered get deported to Nova Scotia, where them would have freeze to death, and then again them get dipped to Sierra Leone. The Accompang Maroons became so famed for their brutality and loyalty to the British Crown. They used to be one of the first set of people the British call before them call any other Maroon group. During Sam Sharp Rebellion, the Accompang Maroons were the deciding factor as to why Sam Sharp Rebellion wasn't a success. At one point, Sam Sharp and one of them second have the British under pressure, and the Maroon them come in and mash up that and save the white man them. Now they are the ones who eventually went into the bush and the mountains and the hills and captured Sam Sharp and turned him over to be executed. Now, if you remember, it was because of this rebellion that slavery in the British Empire came to an end. The real hero who fought for your freedom was turned over to be killed by the Maroons. They don't like to talk about that. And next famous incident is a case of the Maroon violence during the Moran Bay rebellions, where hundreds of regular law-abiding Jamaicans were slaughtered by the Maroons wholesale. It was so bad that even the British were looking at the Maroons sideways in an attempt to prove their loyalty to the British. The Maroons went overboard and slaughtered the sick and the elderly, and a lot of innocent people that had nothing to do with the rebellion. Even people they had disputes with. First hand accounts of the incidents exist, so you hear it straight from the horse's mouth about the atrocities they witnessed from the Maroons. Now, this is a post-slavery rebellion. So even after slavery, the Maroons, especially those from a compound, were being attack dogs to the British. They never had to do it, but they chose to do it anyway. It was during this rebellion that the Maroons hunted and captured Paul Bogle. This one holds significance to me because, as a kid, this is the one that did have me scratch my head. I said, if they were all fighting for freedom, why would they capture him and turn him over for execution? There are many other cases of the Maroons following the treaty and selling out other black people. Some of the names I'm sure you've never heard of about is Akua, Apango, Abruco, Simon, etc. Jamaica was in a constant state of rebellion over the years, and the main reason none of them succeeded was because of the intervention of the Maroons, especially a compound. So the fact that Richard Curry is now trying to rewrite history is madness. So one of the main questions you probably have at this point is, after all of the years and all of the wrongs that the Maroon did, how is it that they were able to refresh them image, change the image of them as being traitors who did nothing, and I mean nothing for black people except themselves? And the answer to that, my dear Watson, is politics. See, Richard Curry isn't the first of the Maroons who have tried to rewrite the history of the Maroons in Jamaica. The man on your screen is Colonel CLG Harris of the Moortown Maroons. During the time where Jamaicans gained independence, your two favorite parties were playing hanky panky and appointed them own leaders as national heroes. Colonel Harris, who was a senator at the time, is the main driver of the rebranding of the Maroons. Him write book and do a lot of articles and made up the fairy tale of Nanny and the bullet stopping Batty. He was the driving factor as to why Nanny became a national hero. And it was easy to convince the others as Nanny was advertised as a strong female leader that could stand toe to toe with any man. But yeah, that's it. That's a short and sweet story about the truth of the Jamaican Maroons. Just a little sidebar. The worst part of all of this is that Jamaica could have been independent way before Haiti if the Maroons had not betrayed the other enslaved people. It is reported at the time where the Maroons signed the treaty, the population of whites on the island was less than 5,000. Some say even 2,000, with the population of enslaved being almost 100,000. So if the Maroons never accepted that losers treaty, Jamaica could have been independent from much earlier. But the Maroons bent the knee to a foe who they were beating and turned around and became them lapdogs that was used to brutalize the enslaved population.